Okay, now we are ready to seam our little bootie. This is the bootie that we're making. The free pattern is on the Bernat website. Looks like that. It's called the Bernat Softy Baby Crochet Booties. And we've done all of the crochet work. Now all we have left is the seaming. We made our strap, and it has a little buttonhole. And we made our bootie. So when you look at your bootie, you can see that this is the top section because it has a round curve here that looks like it'll be the top of your bootie, and the bottom part seams together flat right there. And then these little things up here are going to come together and seam as well. To start seaming, you get all that out of the way. Oh, and by the way, I'm using Bernat Softy Baby yarn in the color Pajama Party, which is a nice colorful color. Now, if you look at your little bootie, you can turn it inside out. It looks pretty much exactly the same. But you can definitely, if you look really close, you'll be able to figure out which is the right side. The right side is actually the last row you just worked. So if you just finish knitting, it should already be ready to seam, just like that. So I left a long tail so that I can use that for my seaming. So I just put the yarn needle there, fold it across, squeeze it real tight, and squeeze it through the hole to thread it. And leave enough so it doesn't come loose when you're working. And just fold your little bootie like this so that the edges are side by side and really easy to line up. I've already got it attached here, so what I want to do here is attach it on the other side so that the starting point is the same on both sides. So I just pull it in toward the center, just like that. So now I'm attached at the top of the bootie. And what I do is I line it up so they look exactly the same. And I'm doing these an easy way. It's called a whip stitch. And what you do is you just get one thread from this side. And I try to make sure that I'm not going to leave a loose piece of yarn hanging out. I don't want to get this part, because if I pick up that part, then I'm going to have that loose straight thing sticking out. So get the loose piece of yarn there. And if you can just come straight across to the loose side on the other side, but I'm going to do it one at a time so you can see it better. And then you just come straight over here and you get the one directly across, just like that. And then you just look at it, and I'm going to pass by this little straight section here, and I'm going to get these two loops here. That loop there, and that loop there. I'm just going to pull straight through. And then I want to do one in between, so I get that one there, and that one there. So I'm always getting the one that's going to be showing from the outside. And you don't pull it too tight, you pull it just right so that it's exactly the same. You want your seam to look the same as your fabric did. After a while you can pull this to make it a little bit tighter, but you want it all to look like a big one solid piece from top to bottom. So now I'm going to get these little loops that are sticking out pretty obvious right here again. And then I'm going to do the one in between. So I'm getting the one on the outside there, the one on the outside here. And then you can look at your bootie. If you stretch it out like that, you'll be able to see it looks pretty good. Lines up nice and neat. So now we're ready for another one. And once again, I'm just going to get these prominent loops here that are sticking up. My nose keeps itching. Ugh, aggravating. Now here I'll get the outside one here and the outside one there. Now I get those prominent loops again. So every other one I'm getting a loop that sticks out, and every other one I'm going down and getting the outside loop and the outside loop. Stitch that together. So now the back looks pretty good. So I can pull that a little bit like that and then stretch it out a little bit until it looks just right. Ta-da! Beautiful. And now I'm at the sole. We got sole, man. And you can see that it's going to make a pretty little round sole. So it's a good pattern. I like the way it looks when it's done. And here I'm just going to be getting the, pay attention to where you came from before so you don't go in the same hole, because if you go in the same hole, it doesn't work. So I'll just get one strand there, and one strand there, and I'll pull it. I'm just going to leave that. I think I'll put it inside. That's that end from where I worked on it before. And now here you want to line these up too. Just fold it like that so you can see the straight part goes there, and this is that curved part. So here's where you gotta kind of eyeball it. So I just came out of there. I want to get the outside loop there and the outside loop there. Here I'm going to get right at that corner and right at that corner. Pull that. And you know, it looks like there's a little hole right there. We can fix that with this yarn end later. So just, I'm going to pull it back out. I'll fix that later. We're going to pass it by right now. And we're going to go up straight through the back here. And this is going to be easy. So we'll get that one, and we'll get that one. And we pull it. And we go right. And then we go left, and we pull it. Whip stitch is easy when you get the sections like this, because the stitches exactly match up. Always pay attention to the stitch you just went into so you don't go in it again, because you don't need to. Now we're at the last one. This one's always a little bit hard for me to see. I'm going to go out a little bit. It's not going to hurt anything. There. So now we've got the seam finished. So I always run it in to the inside of the bootie. And then here I'll turn the bootie inside out. And I'm going to weave in this end. And just pull it kind of snug and secure it, because remember your bootie's going to be washed in a washing machine probably, so you want to make sure that's not going to come loose. And now you can weave it in. So I just fold it until I find a spot that's even across here, and I'm just going to go under there, under there, under there, under there, under there, all the way down the line until my needle is about full of stitches. Pull that and don't pull it too tight, and then I turn it around and I go back the other way, but I pass the first stitch, and then I just go right back through those same stitches again, and this time you don't have to be quite so exact. And you just pull that nice and loose. There, now that is secured, and I can cut that we go. So that end is woven in. So now all that's left is this end. And remember, I thought we saw a little hole back here, but I don't really see it. Doesn't look that bad. So now I can just run this through to the inside and weave that end in, because I don't want my ends waving in on the outside where they'll show. Fold that, put that in, and then take it to the inside. And I'm going to run it along the other side here. Got about a needle full of stitches. Pull that through. And my needle's starting to get my yarn's starting to get too short, so I want to show you my trick here. So I take it off. I'm going to run my needle through the spots that I need it to run through. And I'm just going to hold it there, and now I'm going to thread it. This is what I have to do sometimes when my yarn gets too short. And now pull it through gently. Ta-da! Magic! I love that trick. I figured it out one day when I was desperate and I only had a little tiny bit of yarn left. I'm sure some of you have done stuff like that too. There we go. Now that booty is seamed and pretty. Now all it needs is the strap. So you see, you don't have to worry so much about making this perfect because this strap is going to seam on there. So now we have to do the strap. So the strap itself, you can look at it and you can decide, okay, which side do I like better? I like that better. But anyway, before I do that, I want to look at the booty I already did. Now this will be on the left foot of the baby, right? Because it's got the thing here, so that'll be his left foot. So now I want the strap on this side to have the button on the right side. So we want to make sure that this little strap is going to come around and button over like that on the other side. So now I need this strap to be just like that. So I'm going to look and see how I seamed this before. I put it, I had this much left over, so that's how I can measure that. Let's see how much I have left over from there to there. Okay, so this is the point that I want to start seaming. So I'm going to put a little marker there. Once again, I don't have a stitch marker, so you think I'd be prepared when I do these videos. Silly me. I don't even have a paper clip or anything. I'll just have to run a piece of yarn through it. So about there. That's where I want to start seaming. So I'm going to tie this on there. Now let's get this thing arranged again. So I want it to be there. I want the strap to come around like this. So I like the look of this. I think that's a good right side. That looks better, yeah. So I'm happy with that. So now I arrange this. I'm going to fold my strap left over that I'm going to be seaming on. And I'm going to fold my booty. And there, that center part back there is where I'm going to hook it on right now. So I'm going to lay that down nice and neat so I can pick it back up again. And I'm going to get some yarn. Thread my needle. And I'm going to start stitching at that center part where I folded these. That's where I want that to hook up together. So I'm going to Put that through the very center of that and through that. And now let's look and see how that looks. It looks good. I'm going to compare it. Yeah, that'll be about even. With the first one, I didn't have to do so much like that. Now you'll notice all the seaming that I've been doing it on the right side, and that is the correct way with knitting. When you sew garments, you want to seam on the wrong side of the fabric, but knitting, you should do it on the right side so that all of your loose stuff goes on the inside of on the wrong side. So I just tied that on just so I'd have it on there. So I'm just going to start seaming here, and I'm going to do a whip stitch again. Outside loop, outside loop. Pull that through. Leave that end over here. And I'll go to the next outside loop, next outside loop. Pull that. And once again, don't pull it too tight. Keep it loose. Always grabbing that outside loop so that the outside of your fabric looks nice and neat. Can you hear my clock ticking in my room here? Ooh, I got a little knot. Oh, good. I'm so glad because I can show you how to fix it. Whenever you come across little knots like this, don't freak out. Don't stretch it out. You'll make it tight. If you'll notice, it's just a loop going through a loop. So just pull that loop out. Ta-da! Magic. That'll happen sometimes, especially with seaming. So occasionally you need to drop the needle or twist it around to get